to Wyrdisch. I am Stephanie Lauren. Have you ever had a spiritual experience that you couldn't explain to your friends? Because when you start seeing beyond the veil and step out of the matrix, weird things happen. And I'm here to tell you that you are not crazy. You are not going insane. This is your new normal. Now, in these conversations, I'm your lighthouse, illuminating your awakening journey. I'm just glad that you're here and that you're resonating with me right now. Here you'll hear stories from human beings like you and me who have seen their guides, felt energy heal, and suddenly know truths that you just can't explain how you know it. You feel normal, and here your experiences have witnesses. Now, weird comes from the Old English to become. This is where you remember your sacredness. Step into the next spiral or octave where the unseen is spoken and crazy weird shit becomes normal. Breath is geometry. Stillness reveals truth. Stories aren't told. They're remembered into your becoming. I'm glad you arrived. I have here Manu. She's a 3-5 generator. Incarnation cross of love. Amazing. So whenever someone comes into your life with an incarnation cross that's different from yours, which is more or less all the time, that is a lot of the time the thing that you need right now. I am a 6-2 manifesting generator. And my incarnation cross is the incarnation cross of endeavor. Manu, she's originally from Brazil and has been living in the Netherlands for the past 18 years. Her roots are deeply spiritual. It goes back like way all the way to the beginning. And she's been shaped by traditions like Ubanda and Candomblé, with a lifelong connection with the Orishas. Amazing. She's always been intuitive, been into tarot, astrology, numerology, and familiar with all these spiritual languages and even like human languages as well from an early age. And when she was 15, she received this tarot reading where she was told that she's going to embark on this life-changing journey. And she's here to tell us about some of that life-changing journey. So,
Yes. Yes, I mean, really life-changing. So many amazing stories. Thank you so much for having me here. I mean, it's an honor to be your guest, and I guess, wow, reliving those stories, like, it's amazing. And maybe some new ones to add also, who knows?
always, I mean, that's what life is for, to have experiences in it, isn't it?
Yes, yeah,
Yeah, and so you've actually explored many paths,
yes,
and it led you to photography. So this is the way that you see energy and truth.
yes.
Can you explain that some more?
Yeah, well, photography, one could say it came to me by chance, totally by chance.
Does
Right.
chance exist?
Not at all. I don't believe it. Not at all. Everything is beautifully written, like, already in the stars in the universe, and we are just here, like, one way or another, we will live that life. I mean, even if we resist it and choose different paths, right? But you will end up following your journey, how it was written before you came here. So, I've been here exactly as 18 years, as you said, almost 19, all right? And 13 years ago, a friend of mine, she's a photographer, she still is. She was visiting Holland with her boyfriend, and yeah, like one going out to Amsterdam, she had her camera, and I was like, "Oh, can I play with it?" And I was taking some pictures of her. And then when we got home, she was looking at the pictures, and she was like, "Wow, you have such an eye for it." And I was like, "Oh, really? I mean, first time ever." She's like, "Yeah, you have such an eye for it." And it's okay. Conversation, went dead at that moment. She went back to Brazil. And I think a few months later, she was like, "Hey, remember, like, you took my pictures and I really said you had a good light for it, a good eye for it and everything." And I was like, "Yeah, I do remember." She's like, yeah, I have a proposition for you. I'm like, yeah, tell me. Would you like to do something more with it? And I'm like, well, as what? She's like, yeah, I was thinking because at the time in Brazil, it was this big boom of couples getting married and they wanted like a photographer during their honeymoon to just, capture those amazing moments, right? And then she was like, yeah, it would be much better for my customers if I already have someone in Europe than me going with them. And I'm like, well, okay, like, fine, where do I get into the picture? And then she's like, yeah, I mean, would you be willing to just like learn a little bit more, get into the technical part of it and see, how that would land? I'm like, well, okay. Then I kid you not, that time MediaMarkt had opened like a sale of you can buy anything in electronics for with 12 installments, no interest rate, nothing. And who lives in Europe, especially in the Netherlands, knows that in here nothing is paid in installments. Thing. And also no interest rate. And I was like, wow, okay, I will get my first camera. So I got the camera, I called her, I said, okay, what now? I have a camera, and she was like, yeah, you start making a
Okay,
portfolio.
wait a moment, wait a moment, wait a moment.
Sorry.
So I want to double click on that.
Yes.
So there are no coincidences, okay? And the synchronicity is amazing. And this is exactly the thing. So if I heard you correctly, someone came to you
Yes.
giving you an opportunity.
Yes.
Then the next opportunity that came up was um, you being able to get the equipment in an affordable way
Yes.
exactly at the time that you needed.
Yes. Exactly.
These are the weird things that happen when you just decide, I'm going to take the next step.
Yes. And I think also when you were aligned, right? I mean, when you really meet your purpose, because that was 13 years ago, huh? And okay, back then for me it was just like, oh, it's a hobby. But then the more I was doing it, like it really became my passion, right? And also funniest thing is through that whole partnership, right? Because the idea was, okay, you learn, you make a portfolio, and then I will send you all my customers and and so on. I photographed my first paid photo shoot was in Paris. It came via her. And then actually, like via that couple, other couples came also to go to Paris. And with her, I did only another wedding in Italy. She was just the initiator for me, like, I mean, we are still very good friends and, like really, I mean, but the funny thing is like through her, really through that partnership, only the first customer and the rest just came. Here I am like 13 years later. Yeah, fully going into photography and leaving my corporate job in the background. I mean, closing that chapter and fully stepping into really being a photographer and a mentor, which is like a coach. That it also came like, oh my God, out of nowhere, which we know it's not. So I was even more aligned to see that that was my purpose. That is my purpose and my path.
When I think about some of the paths that I've gone down, not all of them have been my purpose, but there was always a lesson in it.
Yeah.
So anything that you're aligned to, anything that you're a vibrational match to, is there, and whatever has been positive, you feel amazing. But then, and I'm just talking positive and negative, nothing is positive and negative except for the meaning and interpretation that I put into
That
it.
we give to it. Exactly. Yeah.
Exactly. So everything is neutral. But I mean, things have just lined up and come up into my life, and then I went down that path for it to just turn up to be a dead end.
Yeah.
But it wasn't, on a 3D level, it could have been you can see it as a dead end, but it was never a dead end. It was just like, as you say, you a path that you're supposed to go down because there's a lesson in it, and you change your vibration, so then you're not in alignment with that path anymore. Just
Yeah.
like what you experience with your corporate career, I experienced with my corporate career. At some point, it's just you went down that line and you did it as long as it was as it felt great and as long
Yeah.
as it um everything was aligned until you weren't aligned.
Like I wouldn't say that. I would say like I was aligned at that moment with that path, right? I mean, I came here, like I also like I quit everything in Brazil. I decided to move. And I came here, and within 3 months, I had this job in this company that I am still working until March. And I mean, that served the purpose, which I am really grateful for, like all my foundation, everything that I needed to right now at this moment close the chapter and really fully dive in to my purpose. That path and that where I was in alignment before gave me the foundation that I needed for now.
It was your purpose then, but it's
That
not your
company.
purpose now. That, yeah,
Exactly, exactly, exactly. Yeah.
yeah.
It
So
doesn't mean
it
that you have one fixed purpose, right? I mean,
exactly.
it can have multiple and even as I said, even if it's not the purpose, it's a lesson that you had to go through to evolve.
Because what we're here for is to have new experiences to grow our souls
Yeah.
and the lessons that we want to learn. There's an analogy. I think it's from Gary Sukov's book, The Seed of the Soul, where
Hmm.
it's in that you have these two souls that are being compared.
Yeah.
And one soul is like this baby soul, and the other one is like this, they're maybe in primary school. And so the baby soul asks, well, how did you get there? And then they said, okay, well, I've had all these experiences. So that baby soul goes out and has all these experiences and grows to be and gets to the primary school. And then the other one is already doing their PhD, and which has like been an exponential thing. So how did you get there? I got here because I went to have a life on Earth.
Oh, Earth, what is it? Can I go there too?
Earth school! And only
Right?
advanced souls
Yeah.
can come to Earth school because it's so,
Yeah.
what I've been told by actually multiple channelers is Earth school is really hard.
Yeah.
It's the hardest place
Why
to
the heck
be.
did we choose to go to Earth School then? Right?
Yes. And yes, you're allowed to swear on this. I don't
Oh,
mind.
I'm
We're allowed to swear. It's good. You said heck,
sorry.
but I'm gonna swear sometimes too.
Okay. Okay. I will try
Yes,
to
it's
keep
all
like,
do whatever feels good to you. For me, it's all fine. But that's the thing. We are here in Earth School, vibrating at a really low vibration, and it's dense.
Yeah.
It's sluggish.
Yeah, you can really feel it, especially now, right? I mean, the moment we are like today. It's really dense. It's really dense. And I mean, if someone who, let's say, who is not really yet aware of their consciousness and what we are talking about, they can, from their 3D world, they can think, oh my God, I feel so heavy. And it's this and it's that. And then, yeah, that behind it, it's really like it's the energy around us that if we really do not protect ourselves and do not become aware of, hey, let's vibrate a little bit higher, then you get really drawn into many different things.
Let's come back to that.
Yeah.
So for me, what's really interesting is your specific spiritual awakening, okay? Because
Hmm.
as far as I understand it, you have been exposed actually to a spiritual life since you were a kid. Tell us a little bit about that.
Okay, so I grew up in a house where my aunt, and which I call her also my feeling mom, she was, how do you say it, a mãe de santo, so that's how we call it in Portuguese, like in Umbanda Candomblé, right? So that we have like a priest or the priestess, let's call it like that. And then she was one of the priestess. So she used to channel also a spirit. She used also to read the cards. And we used to have also parties in our house, where the spirits would come. Let's say she would channel and we would have like, so I grew up in that environment. Right. So going to terreiros, it's like is the church of the Umbanda. Anyways, I mean, those are just names we put into, right? Like dogma religions. But so I grew up in that environment. So for me, it was always very normal. Like, yeah, there are all the spirits out there, there are more than one god and a god and a goddesses and all this kind of spiritual guides. And yeah, but that was very normal for me since I remember myself of being a human. I mean, of being a cosmic being in a human body. But okay, back then it's just a human, right? We are in the 3D. So since I really remember that, I mean, I'm already in that environment. So it was always very natural to me.
You never, let's say, fell asleep in between, like
No,
forgot about all of those spirits.
no,
Okay, no. So that means
no.
that you've always been into the weird shit.
Yeah, yeah. Yes, 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 it did. Yeah. And yeah, and I think also, like, for instance, with that reading, right? When I was 15, it was my first tarot reading. And yeah, the lady said, "Oh, you're gonna make a trip that's gonna change your life." And I'm like, "Well, okay." And of course, I mean, I was still studying and I was having my first boyfriend, and which was a long-term relationship. And then at some point, I'm like, dude, this is not working anymore. And like I went through university to do all of the things, that you are supposed to do in that environment. But then at some point, I was just like, yeah, this life here, something needs to change. It's not for me anymore. So that was when I decided to move, and then I connected. Oh, that reading. I actually, at that point, I didn't even remember about the reading anymore. Only when I moved here, I think maybe a few years later, that came back to me. And I was like, oh wow, yeah, I had that reading, and yeah, but no, I never forgot about it. I always had it into my life. And also when I moved here, I was also drawn as I was also saying, to the Mesa Branca, like to another Santeria, in the same spiritual people here. So I would always go into that way, let's put it like that.
And the other way around, it always found you too.
It always found me too. Yes, exactly. And a very good example of that, it's my doula and good friend and my shaman at this moment. Because when I first thought about getting pregnant, I had another Brazilian doula here in the Netherlands that I was in contact with. And then when I got pregnant, I contacted her, and then she said, "Oh, I'm not doing it anymore, but I have a very good friend, and I think you will be really a good match." So she became a doula. And then after that, like we became very good friends. And then last year, I also had the first plant medicine experience with her. So, like when I was in Brazil now, like just 2 months ago, another experience also just came to me. So, yes, it keeps coming.
Plant medicine has been very eye-opening for me as well. When my sister transitioned because of drugs, I was 19 at the time and she was younger. She didn't even make it to 18. I just then decided no drugs. I was not at all in any contact with the spiritual world. Well, actually, not quite true. At least not from my surroundings, but of course, the spiritual world had contacted me, and in different places, things pop up, and then you read about it and you see it, but then it's like I at least just put it aside and said, no, I'm like analytical and I'm going
Yeah,
to go to university and go to corporate and do all these things because that's what you're meant to do. Not realizing that I wasn't even following my own dreams.
yeah.
um, which hit me after my awakening so I only woke up fully last year, and it started in September 2024. For me, it's been really, really quick, but when I went and studied chemical and bioengineering afterwards and understanding how it all affects your body, I was like, no, that's even plant medicine is drugs, so no. Until my trip last year that changed my life. I mean, I didn't need that to reading.
Where did you go? Sorry, where did you go?
Peru, when I went to Peru.
Oh, oh my God. It is on my wish list. On my wish list. Also on my wish list.
It should be on your wish list and on your wish
And our
list.
wish list. Yes, yes, it is on both. Yes.
Yeah, so I went to Peru and that just totally changed my life. I mean, I was already on that trajectory, don't get me wrong, but that like ignited it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and since then everything has changed. And look at me now. It's the end of January, and I'm doing this podcast.
Yes. No, I mean, I can totally relate to you because even though I have, let's say, the spiritual roots with me, like since I was a kid, last year when I did the first plant medicine journey was in June. No, actually, sorry, it was in July. Since July until now, the amount of things that happened, it's like a
Give me an
lifetime.
example. Give me an example. I mean, yes, it's been a lifetime since
It's
mid of lifetime.
Yeah, it's a lifetime. I mean, the first thing is I always had this in my mind, like, okay, I had the plan to maybe in a while, like 3, 4, 5 years from now, I stop corporate, fully focus on photography. But then July I have it, August I come back from holiday, and I'm like telling my manager, sorry, we need to talk. Remember what I told you that would be 5 years from now? Actually, it's gonna be next year. And I just took the quantum leap, like, okay, photography. And also what came more was the mentorship project, was that became really alive. So so it's like closing one chapter and initiating the other. So that was really what I say, like in these 6 months. Then I did the TCP coaching as well, which I have been listening to Jim's podcast like forever. And then I'm like, oh wow, the coach is gonna be in September. And then I'm like, and then I will finish it when I'm in Brazil. And everything that was happening, it went so in a spiral way, so fast that yeah. And then I'm sitting now talking with you also. Tell me about it, like how you came into my life. I mean, one of the ladies that lives in the Netherlands that was part of TCP says, "Hey," she puts in a group, in a small group, because I think we are 11 or 12 from the Netherlands. "Hey, I'm gonna do this podcast. Would any of you want to do it?" And no one else. I mean, I was the first one to answer. I said, "Yes, please." Because also talking about alignment, it was also my goal for the year to be in different podcasts. But then, like I didn't really specify why, but because I want to be visible also for the photography, but also for the mentorship. And then I was already in one podcast, like for the photography, like 2 weeks ago. And today I'm here with you. And both of them, I didn't go looking for it. I just set the intention. I want to be part of podcasts this year. Oh, it's flowing and it's flowing. Where I'm going, who knows? I just know I'm going.
I want to quickly explain TCP and Jim Fortin for
I'm
everyone
sorry.
who's on it. No, it's all good.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
actually
yeah.
amazing. Jim Fortin, he has an amazing podcast. I started there too, and that is actually part of my awakening story. That is actually a big, big part of it because
Yeah.
in September 2024, I was going through like a dark night of my soul in corporate, feeling totally lost. I knew my job and I weren't aligned anymore, or the company and I were not aligned anymore. I mean, it was already known, but that was like that threshold point. And so in September, and then I have no idea. So this is some of the weird shit that happens. I think it was Instagram. I got this ad that said human design. Type in your human design, see what comes out. This part's for free. And so I get this like little free human design reading, and it says, "This is you." And I read it, and every single thing in there just click, 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 click. And I mean, in corporate, team lead, you have to do all these different types of tests, and this is how you are because these are the 4 boxes that we put people in, or these are the 5 boxes we put people in. But nothing ever felt right. I'm not that. I'm that and that and that. You can't put me in a box.
Yes.
I always felt like I was being put in a box. And
Mhm.
but we don't belong in boxes. We are everything. We are intelligent and dull. We're both. Just
Yes,
depends on what time of day you get me.
exactly. And in which path of evolution you are, right? I mean, we are always learning. So there will always
Exactly.
be a
We're always
subject that
learning.
we are
Yeah.
just like stupid, and yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. And so
that's that.
I got this little reading, and then it's okay for $22,
You can get
you
the full
get
thing.
to have the full reading. Okay, $22. I think I can manage that. I got that. I started reading. I was actually out here on the sitting on the terrace. It was September and the sun was shining. It was afternoon and I was reading it, and after the first five sentences or something, just tears pouring down my face.
Mm.
This report that I got knows me better than myself. Started listening to her podcast, and maybe the third podcast in, Jim is guest on her podcast. And then
Yeah.
I start listening to Jim. And then I go on his podcast. And I start from number one.
Yeah, me
Jim
too. And
says, start
I'm
from number
still at
one.
number
He's a hypnotist.
200 and 200 and something, but I also started number one.
You start at number one. And I got to maybe number 50 or something. I know, because manifesting generator, and I go through things really fast. I listen to it at 1.25 speed. And so I'm maybe at 50. And then so timing is December 2024. And then TCP. And at that time they did evergreen. They didn't do cohorts at the time. They did evergreen.
Oh, they did evergreen.
Yeah, so
Okay.
I hopped on a call, a discovery call, and then I said, yes, okay, you can hop in. And but I said I want to get into the cohort. Do you have a cohort? And they said, not right now, evergreen, but the cohort is starting in March. But you can already just start already in January, because I had a lot of things going on. I was finishing my hypnotherapy certification. And so I said, okay, look, I want to finish this. And they said, doesn't matter, hop on the TCP calls. Okay, do as much as you can, and then start new in March with a cohort. I'm like, are you kidding me? This is
Can I
exactly
do
what
that?
I've been looking for.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
want
yeah,
a
yeah.
cohort. They
Yeah,
they've been doing evergreen for 2 years, and when I
yeah,
start, they're doing cohort
yeah,
again. I'm like,
yeah.
amazing,
Really,
perfect.
yeah. I was listening to a podcast, was from a Brazilian also woman in the same field, let's say. And then from that podcast, of course, like Spotify refers all the kind of podcasts. So I started listening to another one. I think it was Katie Heller. And then one of Katie Heller guests was also Jim. And then from Jed, I went to Jim's podcast. And yeah, and I got hooked. And I had the same. The more he started like talking, and then he would mention TCP, and I'm like, that's it. Whenever he opens up, whatever it costs, I don't care. I'm gonna join. And everything was just perfectly timed. Really divine timing. I mean, I still have my 3D ego and I'm still impatient, but I know that divine timing works. I know for a fact. I mean, I don't only understand, I know. Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's how you and I met. It was
Yes.
for you your first round, and for me it was my second and a half round, because yeah, it's
Wow.
between January
Yeah.
and March I did stuff, and then March was my first round, and September was my second round.
Funny thing, we
Yeah,
were together, right? And we didn't really meet and interact, right? See, how is that? Like, we were like for 3 months, like 14 weeks together, and we never
yeah.
interacted in
No, we
anything.
didn't. I'm already active in the inner circle. I'm active in the sales program. You're taught by Jim to become the coach. And so I was using TCP to
As learning
as
to
a
really learn.
learning
Yes.
exactly learning tool, and it was so fantastic. And
Yeah.
just during the whole year, because of all of the just because of TCP work that you go through, and all the stories that you look at, and all the stories that you tell yourself, and the interpretations and the meanings you
Yes.
put into everything, and what are your actual values, you start this shift, and things just come into your life, and
Just come.
experiences, and it just appears.
Yes. But it's
Yeah.
like you come back to your power, right?
Yes.
You really come back to your center, and then you really learn to listen to yourself. I mean, to your higher self. I remember my first hot sit. I mean, my first thing, I was like all over the place and this, and then, like Jim comes like, hey, Manuela, chill,
I remember
let
that one.
go, detach, and yeah, and then 14 weeks later, I'm like, wow, one needs to go through it to understand, but I can really see the benefits and I can really see the transformation and also in my life and then in people around me. So it's amazing. So yeah, so this was all part of my awakening as well. I mean, I was always spiritual. I was always in this. I mean, I knew that there was something more. But then since last year, things started changing like even more. And also there was like a very important date on my astrological map. It was like 25th of May. There was this very special conjunction with my sign that said that also would really be a mark of a new time in my life. Yeah, and then now I guess I'm aligned and I'm prepared to really receive that insights and to really apply it and to really like go and fulfill this new purpose. So divine timing, right? Everything is divine timing.
And you were ready because if
Yes,
this opportunity had come, let's say 5 years ago, you
I
wouldn't
would
have
not
seen
have been
it.
ready. No.
You wouldn't have seen it because you're not ready for it. You hadn't learned all the things that you needed to learn. So, hey, don't get me wrong. Impatience,
Yeah.
I know that. I know impatience, and it's something that I have learned to dance with. Instead of having impatience being in the driver's seat,
Yeah.
it's in the back, and sometimes it can shout a little bit louder. And the thing is like, okay, I get you. And using the master thought formula, it's like, I am not my thoughts. Okay, hello,
Yes.
impatience. You there's a message in here for me. Great. Let's talk.
Tell me, and then go away, and then I go focus on something else. That's a good one. Always when I go focus on something else, I go to my sunflower fields. That's my place to, okay, calm, relax. And I told you, like, this has a meaning, right? I wanted to bring it. So, so I manifested this little thing, like, like it came like we were last year on a trip. And then my daughter, she loves Minnie, she loves the Disney, right? And this thing came into a package, and those like a surprise thing that you open. And then we had bought some for her. She could open it, and some we would open only on the airplane trip back home. And then I had like those tablets that you can draw on it, right? For her, like not a tablet with a blackboard that you can draw. We were playing, and I was drawing a sunflower at the time. I was just drawing a sunflower. And then my husband says, hey, shall we give one of the things to Leia? And I'm like, oh, yeah, let me open it. And I open it, and what is it? Mini with a sunflower. And I said, okay, Leia, I'm so sorry, but this one, it's from Mama. This one is not for you. This one is to remind myself that I can manifest and co-create everything I intend in my life.
Yeah. Set your intention and
Yes.
be clear
Yes.
that
Be very
when you set
clear.
your intention,
Yeah.
you will get what you want,
Yes.
but it might not look the way that you wanted it to. You
Exactly.
need
And
to,
then you really have to be prepared for, hey, this is what you asked for. I mean, you will get it. It doesn't matter how you get it or when you get it and in what form you get it, but you will get it and be
you'll
ready.
get it.
Don't chicken out or anything because you asked for it. So, that's
Okay,
the
can you
thing.
give me an example of that, of an intention that you set?
I think actually this of like letting go of my corporate, that was one thing. Like that I put it out there, right? And I said, okay, I would do it. But I said I would do it like in 5 years. But then things happened so fast that it just came like, okay, so I took it, I said it, I put it out loud there. I'm like, okay, oh shit, and what? And now? Okay, I did it already. And now? And then now you deal with it. Like you're gonna figure it out how you're gonna do after 30th of April and onwards. To go and figure it out. I mean, that's the time frame you have, and there's nothing as such as security anywhere you are. So just go and and then things starts like, okay, one thing here, one synchronicity here, one person comes into my life. like when I really put that up to it, if I think about it, all those little things, like one person reached out to me on Instagram to do a partnership with a Brazilian place, right? And then that person is also a PR a person. That person has also marketing knowledge, and that person is also a web designer. And that person ended up doing my website, my new website, for like, like a very a friendly investment. And also now that person is being my PR person, also like, so all of these things, look, I was using photography only as a hobby. The moment I said that I am a photographer, all the opportunities came. So that person is now helping me to set me up all the marketing and all the strategy and everything for the future, which in 13 years of me photographing, I've never ever thought of it. And nothing really just came in that way. And it came now.
I had so many of these things happen in just alone in September, October, November last year. Like I set an intention and I do not kid you, 2 minutes later it happened. So one example, I was sitting in a room, it was our day off, and so we set the intention that we're going to find these two people. And I kid you not, 2 minutes later, knock on the door. Person number one, the first person we want to talk to, walks in, throws his jacket like over the bed and says, "What are you doing in my room?" I said, "This isn't your room. Your hut is the one next to this one. But we wanted to see you, like really soon. We wanted to find you. So perfect. Come and sit down." Now, a minute later, no joke, a minute later, next knock on the door. "Hello, come in." The second person, no joke, the second person we wanted to go and find walks in and hands me my scarf, because we did a switcheroo on the first day traveling, and he comes and brings me my scarf. I'm like,
Just at that specific moment, right?
in that specific moment, said, "No, don't leave. We need to talk. Sit down.
Sit down, yeah.
Sit down." And so inside of fucking 3 minutes after setting the intention, these two people walk in.
Okay, I remember one. I remember one, and that one is amazing. That one is amazing because I also actually explained that it relates to my photography, right? Also to the other podcast that I was on. Like there was this he was part of one of the Big Brother editions in Brazil.
Mm,
And at the time, you won a trip to Holland via the one of the beer brands, and it was really fun of the guy. My cousin and a very good friend of mine, we were like, okay, whenever he comes, you will photograph him. Okay, time passed, and then all of a sudden we see the stories. Oh my God, he is in the Netherlands. He's in Amsterdam. That was day one. And I said, okay, I'm gonna photograph him. I'm gonna photograph him. And then I started like putting on Instagram. I started asking my followers and I started like texting and like, okay, this was really a dream for me. And then at that point, I was still listening to the podcast of the lady I told you, and she had one exercise that she says, okay, do this for 24 hours and you will see a miracle happening in your life next day. So I did that exercise day one. Day two, his PR contacts me. Oh, like we got so many messages and whatever, and you are a photographer, and I think, it would be great. I'm not sure yet if we will manage because he's filming and there is a lot of things we're doing, but would you be open to wait tomorrow and see if we could fit you in for the photo shoot? And I'm like, totally. So I go to Amsterdam because I don't live in Amsterdam anymore. I go to Amsterdam. I'm working at a Starbucks, and then I'm talking. This very good friend of mine, she's there. So this thanks to my friend and my cousin. Like like we did all this motion, and then I also did my exercises, and then we are there, and my battery runs down because at that station at that Starbucks they didn't have a plug charger working. So I tell her, let's go to the other one, which we had to cross what we call the flower market in the Netherlands. So I had to cross it to go to the other station. I said, yeah, let's go because I need to charge my computer. So we crossed the flower market. At the other end, I'm talking, we are deciding, okay, what do we do? Then my friend goes like, Manuela, Manuela. I'm like, what? Look who is there. And I'm like, Who? So the guy was there, Gil, his name is Gil. Gil was there, like filming part of the series that he was doing here. And I'm like, my God, oh my God, oh my God. So I went into his filming moment, and I am actually part of this part of this series. I am in there as well. Oh my God, like I don't know, I've been talking to your PR and then I'm the photographer and this and that. And he goes like, no, for sure, we will do it. We will do a photo shoot. I had 20 minutes to photograph him. I went to his hotel. I was waiting for him there. He was finalizing his movies and everything, and I photographed him in 20 minutes. So that was a very intentional thing. I did it one day, the next day it happened. And those
Yep.
are such good things to remember, especially when you are in a moment in your 3D worrying, stressing, going into that energy that you know will not bring you anywhere. It's such a good anchor to just go back to those moments where you know for a fact that it happened. So just go back to those moments.
Every single one of us is amazing at creating what we experience. The only
Yes, and
question
and
is,
that can be on both sides, huh? What we call good or bad or positive or negative. It can go either way. Yeah? So it is always there. We are making choices and thinking
yeah,
and vibrating because actually ultimately it comes down to the vibration, right?
the frequency and the way that you intend something. I mean, did you did you intend to only have 20 minutes time to photograph
No,
him? No.
no. It's just to
You
photograph
didn't
him.
set that. Exactly.
No,
All you said was, I want to
I
photograph
will
him.
photograph him. Yes,
You said that.
yes,
And so that's what happened. You didn't specify that you
yeah,
wanted a whole day with him. You
yeah,
specified photograph.
yes,
You got what you wanted.
yeah,
Yeah, it was 20 minutes, but that's the thing. You can go and complain about, I only got 20 minutes. I'm not saying that you did, but this is what a lot of people do. You ask for something and then you only got 20 minutes and okay, yeah, it's not that long
yeah.
maybe, but it's more than enough time to get those photos in. You are a professional. That's all you need. 20 minutes is
Exactly.
all you need.
Exactly. Yeah. And
Amazing.
like when you say like that, it reminds me also of one thing that happened also to that during that occasion because he has his legal things or whatever with the TV sender that was there. When he posted my picture, he didn't tag me, right? And a lot of my followers, they were very upset because he didn't give the credits, right? At that moment, I was just like, you know what? I photographed him. I met him. I have the evidence. And I use his pictures in my portfolio, you know. And actually, in a way, he hired me, as a photographer. He just didn't ask for it for free. He hired me. He paid also. I didn't even ask to be paid, in that intention. I just said I want to photograph him, and he paid me. So the pictures in the end are his. If he wants to tag me yes or no, of course, if you would think like, the interpretation that you want to give, if, hey, ethically, morally, you tag the owner, whatever, like at that point, I didn't go into that spiral. I just said, I did what I love. I photographed a person who I admire. I got paid for it.
And what he does with it doesn't pertain to you.
Doesn't pertain to me. Exactly. What if I went into that spiral of complaining and this and that? No, he's an amazing guy. He's an amazing person, and his pictures are amazing. And yeah,
Another example came into my mind. When you set an intention, you always just have to remember that what you get might not be exactly what you expected, but it's perfect because it's the exact thing that you need. And so what I heard from your example is, you are totally an Aini, that ancient Incan word of the
reciprocity.
reciprocity of life. The Keros tribe, and they taught us Aini in the ceremonial Aini, which is just beautiful. But before that, when I was going through TCP, we have that whole week of
Yes,
Aini.
the whole week on Heine. Yes.
And so something, I don't know if anyone else has done something like this, but I had an example of where I was taking, when I was younger, I was like in that whole lack. lack attitude. I mean, I didn't grow up with that much money, and there was a lot of survival in that. But the thing was that I was always resourceful. If I wanted something, I got it. I wanted a laptop, I went and got that laptop. I mean, that meant at the time, because I didn't know about choice, it was about decisions. Then it was I couldn't go on holidays, but I got the laptop.
Yes.
Okay, great, amazing. I got it. I gave something else up. Now I know that not necessary. You can do both. But anyway,
Yes. Yes.
so
Exactly.
I was taking, and then so I had a friend while I was studying. Yeah, and so I had a friend when I was studying, and she was really generous, and she grew up under different circumstances, and so I was taking, and I realized that I hadn't given that much back. And so I was wondering, okay, how could I, and we don't have real contact anymore. So how could I give back? And I specifically chose an organization. The next time they ask me for some money, I will give that money in her name, not expecting anything back, of course, but just in Aini, to say, okay, look, this is for me because at the time I was taking, and now I want to give something back. And so I did that, and about a week later, usually I'm not at the shop at that time. And the funny thing is that I'm in this aisle, and then I hear French speaking, but French in a Luxembourg way. And I look up, and it's her sister there. And I'm like, come on,
How
come
amazing
on.
is that, right?
So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
know
It's
that it
amazing.
worked.
When you ask now, another thing coming to my mind, like by moving here, right? Like that was also another intention. And I arrived, okay, I said, okay, I will close a chapter there. I will also like, leave the job where I was. I, left everything behind. And then the month I arrived, I started applying for jobs and everything. And then I started working in this company on 3rd of December 2007. So within 2 months that I arrived, I was already employed.
Okay.
Because yeah,
What year was 2007?
it
What
was a
in
year
general?
nine. It
It
was
was
a
a
year
9 year.
nine. I know. And then 2008 was year one. So, I'm back 18 years later. I'm in that cycle again to 2025, a year nine, right? And then a year now we are year one. The most amazing thing is that my birth chart, right? This year, everything is happening with it. I mean, especially I have Neptune and Saturn coming into into Aries like at the same time. And that is something very rare that, we will not see it in another 150 years, right?
And that's why we came. That's why
Exactly.
we came here at right now. That's why we incarnated. Because the astrology, the energy that is coming in right now has never been seen before.
Exactly. I mean, so many things that are happening. It's like really, yeah. So yes, like indeed, year nine, year fire horse, also fire horse year. I mean, you know, I guess a lot of the people watching it, they will go like, okay, fire horse, numeral astrology, this and that. They will go like, okay, okay, I want to
And
learn
that's
all of that
fine.
as well.
That's fine. We can explain it. Okay, so
Yes.
everyone, we are at the end of January.
We
We
are still in the
just
serpent year,
We're
right? I mean,
still in
if
the
we go
year of the
Chinese,
serpent,
yeah,
exactly. So
yes,
we're going along the Chinese calendar, which is in February. That's when their New Year starts. We're not taking the Gregorian calendar into consideration because that's just a construct that was to make us forget. Okay, so one part of it is taking the Chinese calendar. And the Chinese calendar, it isn't a 12-year cycle, it's a 60-year cycle. So the year of the fire horse comes every 60 years. And we've just come out of the snake. That energy, it was, and inside of a year 9, we were spreading like
yes,
crazy,
yes.
shared everything. And we're still in it, guys. We are still in it. And if we take the human design calendar, that just started yesterday on the 22nd of January.
And then like how uncanny it is, right? Like I close the chapter, I'm still like finalizing new beginnings. And I mean, like one can say, oh, but like why doesn't this happen to me? I mean, it's not about because this energy is there for everybody. But if you don't do the work yourself, the internal work, if you don't, if you're not doing, okay, abundance will come for Aries this year. Okay, it's not for all Aries. It's for Aries that did the job. I'm not saying Aries because I know more about my sign, of course, but there is abundance for everybody. But there is a lot like being talked about now about Aries, right? It's really like the center of this year. But if I have not done my work, if I have not gone into the transformation inside, if I was not aware of it, I would not really make sure that I would really grab all the opportunities. I would not open the doors. The doors will come to me, but I would not open them.
You can't see them.
Exactly.
You
But
can't see
because
them.
of the awareness, it's there. Then it flows. Then it's the again going to come back to the frequency. The frequency is there, is aligned
The thing is that there is magic in everything.
in everything.
There's
Yes.
magic in this conversation, and
Yes.
all we have to do is look and see
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
magic. That's all we have to do. There is magic. Walk outside. And a snowflake falls. Every single
Yes.
snowflake is individual. Every single one is different. It's infinitely different than all the infinite other ones.
Yeah.
And every snowflake is infinitely different to us, and each one of us is a fractal of the whole. And
Yes.
each one of us comes with our specific experiences and backgrounds.
Yeah.
And every one of us, we are all one. And at the same time, we are having our experience as us.
That's the link, the missing part at this moment that I see if when we're going back to what we were talking about, that the word is so dense now. It's because people are forgetting that we are one. It's not about me, it's about us. It's about the collective intelligence, right? I mean, you get into this collective fear, and then things just grow exponentially because we are connected. Once people really realize that, and instead of choosing fear, they choose love. Because now see what fear can do, but people, what can love do? What love can do? It's much, much more beautiful. It's much more amazing than what fear can do.
And the thing is that if you haven't experienced fear,
Yeah,
how do you know what love feels like?
that's a good question, but I think yeah, that's a good question. I don't know that I wouldn't know how to answer that, but yeah, you need to experience one feeling to really know that the other feeling it's like more like resonates better, right? Resonates better with you.
It's the same thing, two sides of the coin. So if we
Yeah,
take the Kabbalion into it, it's hot and cold.
yeah. It's
Polarity.
a
It's the
duality,
same
polarity.
thing.
Yeah,
When does hot end and cold start? When does cold
yeah,
end and hot start? That
yeah,
is so subjective. One person says, oh, it's really cold. The other person says it's really hot. There is no one truth to it.
no,
And so that it's polarity. It's just what meaning are you putting into it? And as Gary Sukov says, you can't experience fear and love at the same time.
no. You choose, and you can make the choice every day. That's the thing that also people don't realize. They choose every moment of their lives, right? They choose. Yeah, life is choice, as Jim would say. Like life is choice constantly. And the choices that you make, consciously or unconsciously, it's really what brings the reality you're living at that moment. And once
Yeah,
you make different choices, you change your
yeah.
reality.
I have always been the creator and the architect of my life.
Yeah,
I just did it unconsciously.
yeah,
Now, use your intention, use it wisely. Every single one of us are I mean, we are master intention setters. And so
yes,
the universe manifests, we set the intention. And
yes.
so in the end, you can call someone then a master manifester, but that's just a person who understands how manifesting actually works. And so from the
But it's
conception,
happening there, right?
but it's
Higher
happening, yeah.
mind, universal mind, creator, God, whatever you want to call it, but it's happening there indeed. You just need to put the intention out there. It's not only thinking and it's not only visualizing. There is a deeper layer that you have to go in. But that's the mistake that people make, right? Because we have so many people out there broadcasting like, oh my God, you just needed to visualize, and this, and you just need to think. But then they don't understand that your subconscious actually might be working against you, right? Like limiting
It never
beliefs,
works against you.
traumas.
Wait, it
No, I
never
mean,
works against you.
sorry, yeah. It's
It's
sabotaging you. It doesn't
purposeful.
work. Yeah,
It always works for you. There's always a good intention behind what your subconscious does.
yeah. Protection, right? I mean, in a way, it's protecting you from
It's
something.
keeping you,
Yes,
yeah, it's keeping you
yes,
safe. You want to step onto the next octave of your spiral, okay? Because everything is a spiral. Um, you you want to get to the next level, but because your subconscious is following a program and it got you to this point here, you need to change that program so that you can get to the next higher
to the
place.
next one. Yes,
Exactly. So it's keeping you where you are because it got you there. That's part of where I work in hypnosis is
yes,
to take the programming, thank the programming, and change that programming so that you can step up to the next level easily and effortlessly
yeah.
because your subconscious will take you there as long as it sees that you're safe.
That you're safe. Exactly. Yeah,
And so it's
yeah.
purposeful. It's just not linear. As you can see, that's not linear.
There are so many layers, and it's just like, yeah, but not everybody talks about it because they want to put this image that here, look what I have. You can get it as well. You just need to do these 5 steps. No, no. Yeah,
Uh,
it's
and try it out. It might work for you, but it might not. And so
yeah,
this is where I see everyone is becoming their own guru.
yeah,
And it's all about listening to yourself. And that's what this podcast is for, is to shine the light. If you resonate with the conversation,
yes,
and you want to hear the next conversation, please, absolutely, that's amazing because you will hear the thing that you need to hear exactly as I will hear what I need to hear, and you will hear what you need to hear.
exactly.
And it's just shining a light on the thing that is next for you. And it might be
Yeah,
something that you want to listen to for a while, or it might be something you just want to listen to for a little bit, and that's absolutely fine. And so this is how we weave into each other's lives, in and out, and what other people say. And when we have these experiences with other people, they are here because of a contract that we set
yes.
up before coming here so that we could enter the next octave.
Yes, exactly, exactly. And I mean, even if not everything resonates, if whatever resonates, just take it and go and do also the research yourself, right? Do also the go.
Exactly.
Don't only take everything we are saying like as the sole truth, because there isn't a sole truth. Everybody has their opinion, but you should not. It's your opinion, but like it stops when the other person has the right to have their opinion as well. But you don't need to fight about it, right? You don't need to try to convince the other person that, hey, that's my opinion, that's right. Well, it's right for me, period. I don't want to force it that it's also right for you. But that's where we are at this moment, right? Everybody having their own opinions and wanting to make it the truth, and then we get in all these conflicts and all this. But there are still people like us that understand it and are getting, like are becoming aware, and we're still learning and we are still evolving, and we are not more or less special or anything. No, we are all equals and we all have power. We all have that inside us.
Yeah. Each one of us is unique, and that's why we are
Yes,
worthy.
exactly. We are each of us worthy of everything.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean that is something that I'm doing right now. I'm doing the foundations course with the teachings of Joshua. If there's anything that you should remember, it is you are worthy
You are worthy.
because you are unique.
Yes,
You
yes,
came here on this earth into this density, and so let's pick up that into this density.
yes,
Each one of us is light. Okay, physics, go look that up. Please go look it up. We are light. We are made of light, but we are just vibrating at a really, really low
Low
frequency.
level.
Okay?
Yes.
And what happens when you start vibrating at a higher frequency? When you let in more light, you become lighter.
Lighter. Yes. And the power of that is like it's just so amazing, right? Because the higher your frequency,
The lighter you are.
oh, yeah, the lighter you are. And then the lighter you are, the lighter the lighter people around you get. And then you get this ripple effect. And then slowly, it really goes into remembering that, hey, you know, Earth
Why?
is cool, it's hard, but can be great
It's only hard if you call it
if you
hard.
make it.
And yeah,
Exactly.
and so, I've just been getting chills down my back. That's always confirmation for me.
Yeah, mine is like butterflies, like like the stringly, and it's just like, and mine comes in subtle ways, right? Like if I'm having a conversation, like, and then one word that I see in a billboard just like sticks out. So, oh yes, thank you, universe. Really, this has been happening, like repeated numbers. Oh my God, like crazy. And now I have the awareness of, okay, let's stop. What am I thinking at this moment? Okay, then what is that? What does that message then really resonates to me at this moment? What does it want to tell me? And then you get more tuned, right? With our guides and our higher self. I mean, if you don't want to believe that there are guides, just believe that there is a higher version of you that, that higher version already knows everything. So just tune to that. And then they have the certainty. And like as Kabbalah, I mean, because I was you were saying you were with the teachings of Joshua. I'm like also now, not now, but also last year I started with Kabbalah. And also, like, because I listened to Jim, then there was this other podcast that came on, and then not only Katie Heller, because she also like teaches, right, Kabbalah, but there's also another guy that I follow that I simply love him. Um, and then I'm teaching and I'm doing these journeys with him, and then I'm like, oh my God. And then when you realize, it's just like certainty. It's like Jim would say STD, right? Surrender, trust, do not doubt. So just to make clear what STD is. But
Yeah,
then David says, the Kabbalah says, certainty above all logic.
there's a difference between forcing certainty or
Yes,
forcing clarity and allowing
yes,
certainty and
allowing.
allowing
Yeah,
clarity. And
yeah.
those are two different things. One comes from the mind, and one comes from the inside. So the forcing is up here. I need this to be clear. I need to be
No,
certain. No, 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 no.
the
Feel.
knowing, the feel.
The knowing, exactly. Feel inside, go deep inside your body into that center, into that 0 point, because that is where you will find clarity. And I'm fine in the uncertainty.
Yeah.
That's my personality. Sun is dancing with uncertainty because I mean, certain, does anyone know what's going to happen tomorrow?
No, but then I understand where you were going. No, but you just feel that whatever is gonna happen, you know that it's gonna be all right. And that's what
Yes.
like that's
That,
what the
yes.
certainty I say. It's the faith. Okay, let's call it faith, right?
Yes.
Let's call it faith. It's just
Hmm.
like you just have to have faith, and it is simple, but and don't get me wrong, I still get in a lot. I mean, probably everything I said so far looks so nice and fluffy and everything is cool, right? Dude, I mean, before I met my husband, I was 8 years in the Netherlands single. I went through all, like I went through a body image issues, like I was not loving myself. I mean, I went like really like deep. And then another thing with intention, right? When the moment I said I let go, I will meet someone when I meet someone. I love myself first. I kid you not. In a week, I met my husband. And the first time I decided to, I will only give my number and I will not get someone's number back. If that person likes me, that person will call me. So I meet him. He goes away. I go home. and I'm robbed, and I don't have my phone with me, and I don't know his number, right? Talk about meeting the love of your life. I mean, for me, he's my soulmate, twin flare, whatever. I mean, he's everything. Like really, like it's really amazing. So then that whole day, I'm like, okay, I'm trying to like rescue my old number, right? I'm getting a new phone. Like for all we know, he never texted me, right? But he texted me, WhatsApp did a backup, and somehow his message was still there.
Yeah, because
And
then
look at
it was
us,
meant to be.
11 years later, almost, like still together, daughter, like he has two kids from his previous relationship.
Everything
Perfect, it
is
is.
perfect.
But that I had to go into the 8 years of being single, like 8 years of going through these struggles and 8 years of, like, so it's not all roses, but hey, we are learning our lessons, right? And then the choice, how you choose to act on it and to, do your interpretations and work with integrity and be responsible. Another thing, when I moved here, I had a friend that he did ayahuasca before, like when I moved here 18 years ago. And he just like he talked about it. I was like, oh wow, cool. I think I want to do it. Then last year I had the chance to do it, right? And then within the same year, I have another experience as well in Brazil with plant medicine. Again, like within the same year. Santiago, Camino de Santiago. I always wanted to do the Camino and I never could. Last year I did it in October.
Amazing.
Like because like and it
Set the
just
intention.
no, I didn't even have the intention to do the Camino. I mean, I set the
You did.
intention like,
You did
yeah,
you
a
did a
long
long
time
time
ago. I
ago.
had
So
forgotten about it, right? I
you
mean,
set the intention.
I set the intention, and it came totally out of nowhere. Like a group of photographers and tourist guides that I'm part of. One said, "Oh, I will do the Camino. It's gonna be 10 days. Who is up for it?" And I'm like, "Camino, okay, I cannot do the 10 days, but I can meet them halfway." And like this, I was there.
Yeah, see? You said you had the intention and then an opportunity opened and then you took
Yes,
it. You could
yes.
see it and it was something that was on your to-do list and it can be some I mean, going to Peru has been on my to-do list since I was a child. I mean, on the day that I left, I mean, I was in tears because not because I was sad about going, but because I was finally fulfilling one of my dreams that I'd had
Dreams.
when I was a when I was a child, and
Yes,
that's something from learning in TCP is we had dreams when we were kids and we forgot about them.
yes.
And
And when
going
we were
back
kids, I
into
mean,
them,
how free are we, right?
exactly, and those are the things that we need to be that we don't need to do it. We don't need to do anything. There's no shoulda, coulda, woulda. But these are the things when you go back and then you say, yeah, no, this is still aligned with me, and then an opportunity comes up. It's like, yes, this door is open. And I mean, I booked my flights 5 days before leaving.
And
Okay, and I was only going to do the first two part. It's a 3-part trip. I was only going to do the first two parts. Then I went on the last call before going, and then on that same evening, midnight here, I got a call and they said, "Look, why aren't you coming on the third part? Because you have a unique frequency and." We need you for the third part because the third part is all about the divine feminine and bringing back the divine feminine. And so I set the intention when I rebooked my flights the next day. Before rebooking, I set my intention that it's going to be with no additional fees. Both flights, I was able to rebook, no
no
fees,
cost.
no cost. Okay, now, fun thing on the to go back, I decided to stay 2 days longer. And we were going from Peru to Bolivia. The internet is really spotty. And so that means that in some places you have really good internet and then suddenly you have no internet at all. And so I set the intention, I'm going to rebook my flights, no additional fees. Because it had already worked out, and during the past 2 weeks, I'd set so many intentions and everything just duck happens. Okay. So, and again, you set your intention, and if you don't specify what it's going to look like, it can look a little bit strange for the moment.
Yes.
Okay. So I rebooked my flights, and you can do it per text, but it said 700 francs more, which is
Hmm.
like $900 more or something like that. Doesn't matter. Let's just do it. Great. And then they need to call you because they don't have any links where you can pay. They only get your credit card details over a phone call. Okay, safety stuff. And I said, okay, great. But they couldn't get through. And I mean, I did try because hardly had any internet, and the hotel we were staying in had internet in the eating room, and it was like a really simple hotel. Anyway, and I tried to text them there as well, and I just couldn't get through. I couldn't pay that bill. Back in Cusco, 4 days later, I try again, and they tried to call me and it didn't go through. I'm like, okay, come on. And every time they call you, they close the chat. They just close it. So you have to
And then you have
reopen
to
the chat.
always like reopen and
And so I reopened the chat for like the 10th time in the last 4 days, or it could have been even more. Doesn't matter. But so I reopen the chat, then I say again, okay, um, can so I want to pay, and then I get the message, oh no, your original flight was changed, so you didn't pay anything. What?
look at that. I mean,
I set
yes,
the intention. I got what I wanted. I
yes,
didn't say in between that it wasn't going to be 4 days of trying to pay that bill,
exactly, exactly.
but I
It
got what I
worked.
wanted. It worked.
Exactly.
It didn't say that, I didn't specify it was going to work immediately or it was going to work like that's the thing. I got
Yes,
exactly what I wanted
exactly. With a little bit of like, okay, let's see how she's gonna take that.
and it
And
was
that's
fine.
why we say, right, be careful what we wish for, right? I mean, we hear that sentence like since at least I hear it since I'm a kid, be careful what you wish for. And that is so true. And it's gonna go always. It's so true.
Whenever you see be careful what you wish for, it's a genie in a bottle.
Yeah.
Okay. It doesn't mean that you're not going to get what you want. It just means that it's going to be the exact thing that you need, not the exact thing that you want, but
Yes.
what you need to learn the lesson so that you understand, so that for whatever thing you might need to hear, what you might need to learn, you're going to
Yeah.
get that.
You're gonna get it. Exactly. Exactly. Yeah,
No
it's so
questions
amazing. I
asked.
mean, I think we have like, like we can talk like forever.
Yes,
Right? It's really
absolutely.
like yeah, I mean, it's amazing. Like the more I think about it, like going back to photography, I remember my second like when I had to change my equipment, I got an inheritance from my grandmother that I didn't even know. I mean, I would get. So I got it. I was like, okay, what am I gonna do? I need a new camera. And then because back then, I mean, it was just the beginning. I didn't have the funds that I have now, like the life that I have now, which I can, like afford it. And even if I couldn't, I'm knowing that, you will manifest it, it will come whenever it comes. But yeah, now that I think about it, even my second camera, also the money just, like dropped into it. And then I just bought it and I did an upgrade, and then I could go from just doing like normal photography to sorry, that's my husband.
I hope he's fine. I hope he's fine.
Going to normal photography, and then yeah, like upgrading then also my equipment, and then upgrading my work. I mean, in the end, it's about the person behind the camera, right? But of course, you need also the right tools and the right gear. But hey, I started with a semi-professional camera and then I still did like a lot of weddings with it and everything. But yeah, I mean, the more we talk, the more I can think about other things, But
Yes, please, please. Let's do a second edition. I would
yes,
love that. I would absolutely love that.
me too. I mean it.
Just exactly, just because this is fun.
Yeah.
And I'm just doing what feels fun and what feels easy
Yeah. Yeah.
instead of words, and that's
Yeah.
absolutely fine. That's the
Yeah.
sacred coming through.
Yeah.
Um, for me, this is about doing the thing that my heart wants to do.
Yes, exactly. And then, like talk about this because I was also talking about the mentorship, right? It's something I'm still developing. I mean, it's all coming into shape, but I already have customers.
Yeah,
And I'm not even like marketing it yet. I'm not even focusing on it yet. And I already have customers.
amazing.
And it's really amazing. And like if I could say one thing to people, it's like pay attention. Not that everything that you look for, oh my God, is it a sign? No, but just be open, right? Just be open because it's really amazing. Like if I think about it, like because I was telling that I didn't finish like I mean, I'm not up to date with James' podcast yet, but I mean, but whenever I listen to one podcast, the subject, it's so congruent with what I am experiencing at that moment. It's like, here, that's what you need to hear. Listen to it, this is what you need to hear. There are so many things, so many nice things out there, like
Absolutely.
once we get out of our own things, I was gonna say our own, into our own shit, but I was trying just not to use that word.
It's okay.
But yeah, and look, you can make it as difficult as you want,
Yep.
and you can make it as easy if you want, but
Yep.
indeed what I said, life is simple. People, we human beings, we are the one complicating it, but it is simple.
It totally is. It can be easy. So life is simple, but it doesn't necessarily have to be easy. It's what we
Exactly.
make of it. And there are magic and
Exactly.
miracles in every now moment.
Agree.
And I've absolutely loved this conversation. So
Yes, me too.
I want to ask you, where can people find you?
Yes.
How
Okay,
can
so
people get in contact with you if they want your services?
yes, yes, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Well, for now you can find me on my website, manuelaugo.com.
We'll
There
link
you will
that below.
yes, there you will have like all the photography services. For the mentorship, I do have already an Instagram page, but as I said, it's just the beginning, but it's called Evolve underline the new us. There are some small content in there because as I said, it's just flowing. But if you find me on my website or like on Instagram, you can also find me via my name or via my Brazilian name, which is Fotógrafo Brasileiro Amsterdam. Well, she will put here, so you will see. But I mean, as long as you are on the website, you can always be redirected, to the Instagram. It's no problem. But and then you can see my work. And yeah, tulip season is coming, and it's amazing. It's a unique moment in Holland. And if you resonate with my energy, I'm the right person to, like really make these moments like be your moments for a lifetime and really show who you are, because it's not about the picture, it's about who you are in that moment that the picture is taken. So that's how I see it.
And you, with your incarnation cross of love, I mean, you just radiate and ooze love all over the place. I mean, there's this whole aura of love
Yeah,
around you. And if you're conscious of it or not, doesn't matter because you just put love into everything. That's just who you are.
yeah.
And uh, we are all love. Every single one of us is love. But the part of it is that not everyone came with it as their innate talent.
Okay, okay.
Okay, and that's you came with it. You just said, okay, I'm going to take this and take this and take this, and love is going to be my signature dish.
Yeah, yeah, I know indeed. Like I was not always conscious about that, but after we had our conversation, we were talking about my human design chart. I was like, oh my God, yes, people, she is great, huh? Really, she is great. Not only the human design part, but also remember she said she's also a hypnotherapist. I'm just telling you, like I'm a customer, and it's amazing. She's amazing. So she's amazing.
Thank you. We all are, and thank you very much for the shout out.
Thank you too.
Appreciate it.
Thank you too.
Create all the links down below
No,
so that you
yeah.
can,
Thank
so that
you.
anyone here can find us, whoever wants to find us. We will meet again, and until then, I wish you like abundance, peace, joy, happiness, and that you find your balance wherever you go. Abundance.
Thank you. All the same way back to you, sis. Thank you so much, huh?
Thank you.
Appreciate you. Bye.
Bye. Grateful.